sleepless nights as I might have, probably the one of the best things that really can happen. Because if you never had a buyout that you had to buy a house, you're not needed, right? You have to have these situations that occur.
The other thing I love what you said is that those became clients that he then did second and third and fourth homes with, that became in his sphere that he got the deal. His cost to acquire was really minimal other than risk, and the risk at 95% that got sold made the cost to acquire a customer very cheap to do 600 plus transactions. It was probably 60-70% of the business, 50% overall.
Yeah. The other thing I did early on, I didn't start out doing it this way because usually it was not a profit center. Every once in a while you buy a home and you lucked out and you sold it at a little bit of a profit. But people got obsessed with that early on. Like, what if, are you really going to try to sell the house? And you knew that it was so rare that it was sort of, and the losses that you took were significantly higher than any gain you might occasionally get. So I just created, as part of our presentation, besides the two biggest things I think we did that we came to later was the outside appraiser, which I was scared to do early on. Like, that they're not always dependable, as everybody in this room knows. And second of all, I started to reimburse profit. So this was not a profit center. The buying and the half to flipping of the home was not there for. It was there to get that guy into the next house and create a friend of the builder.
Got it. All right, now you take over. It's 2013. You got 600 deals. Let's walk through what you did in time frame.
Yeah, so 32 years going, he was still going on listings, and I don't say that as a negative thing, but what we did was we took a very good program and a very good realtor, and we turned it into an actual real estate company where I was out of production a couple years into the business. Early on, I was going on 10 listings a week, and so I sort of cut my teeth on all that. But what we ended up doing is taking those 600 deals and using it to recruit, right? So he had 3 or 4 agents, and he was doing 200 or 300 deals himself. And so now, every time we added an agent, it was because they came to us. We never did any recruiting. And so very quickly, we went from 4 agents to 10 or 12 agents. And that alone allowed us to start benefiting from having more bodies on the team, right? There's only a certain number of hours in a day that we can all go to listings and show buyers. And so as a team growth, we started moving to a recruiting model. But we sort of capped it at 10 or 12 agents early because we didn't want to have to answer all those questions and get them through the contracts and all that stuff a lot of you are probably sort of dealing with. And the last 2 years, what really sort of scaled us from, our last year at Remax was 800 transactions, which was 2.5 years ago. And once we made a move, we started hiring people that allowed us to completely get out of production. So we made a sales manager hire, which allowed us to go from 10 agents to 20 very quickly, because then we weren't really we were putting the pedal down to recruiting. Before, we were like, man, 10 or 12 phone calls of got a minute, hey, how do you do this, was a lot for us because we had a lot going on. But with that sales manager, it allowed us to really sort of scale. And so we're at 20 agents right now, but we'll probably be, now that all of our systems around those agents, getting them into production, we'll probably go to 35, 40 agents pretty quickly. So that sales manager was a huge hire for us.
Good.
How much did you pay that sales manager? Because I think a lot of that referral, if they were going to hire out that, what does that look like?
So when I was at a Mastermind, someone gave us that option. Is like, oh, if you find the right one, they can be no base and you can just give them an override. That wasn't our experience. We tried to go that route. And the reason a very good realtor wants to get out of production is they want some of that salary and stability and security. And so the way we compensate our sales manager is $50,000 base, and then On the agents that she manages, she gets a 10% override on every deal. So she doesn't manage all the agents because we have our builder division that he talked about that I can go into details, and then we had our, what I call our retail division, and so she is over all the retail division.
10%?
10%, yep.
And this is important. Did she come out of being one of your agents?
She did. Yeah, so we made a hire of someone that wasn't in our organization, and she lasted probably about 30 days. Just wasn't the right fit culturally. And Megan, who's our sales manager now, she was an agent on the team. And so the moment we let go of that sales manager, we had a new one 24 hours later.
About 65% of our 490 teams have a sales manager or sales leader. Think about a player coach. You don't need a scorekeeper. Scorekeepers, yes, good, sold one, good for you. Oh, you didn't, okay, you get a 0. That's the scorekeeper. Player coaches, what's our problem? Why is our 1-to-1 appointment ratio down 30%? Pitch me, let's go, let's do it. So if they've done it, and now they're going to lead, Megan immediately, and I love her because she's fantastic to work with, she immediately had credibility. She's like, I've been in that seat. I've gone to that presentation. This is what we should be saying. This is what you say when you object. Immediately people gather. So you should look for your sales manager within your own entity or from a competing entity that person feels capped. I can tell you, it was something my whole life, and this one's one of them. I dated her longer than I dated my wife of 31 years to take this damn job when I was at F&F. I'd fly her out here, we'd go to dinner, I'd tell the whole story, she'd be so sweet, drink every wine I gave her, then go, I don't want to do that, and then she'd leave. But they got a time in her life where she finally said, gosh, I'm just tired of the day-to-day, and I go, I need you to lead. You can still sell, but be a player coach. And let me tell you something, when the biggest lion is also the leader, the other lions pay attention. True or true, other lions. Because you can't sell her on, oh, that person won't use us. I like their escrow officer. I can't get that closed. What I love about Megan is she'll get on the phone and she'll go get in the fight. Look for a player coach, not a scorekeeper for this role.
And yeah.
And I'm sorry, did you, 10% of retail